Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to NFL Weekly Picks, Week 12 for Red, White, and Bills. Got newly married Brett McDurphy. He looks like a new man already. He looks like he aged 10 years and 10 hours, but, you know, that's part of it, right? No, I'm just kidding. I love the married jokes. But we're glad to finally have you back, Brett. You took about a week off, and what a better way to start your week back than with weekly picks. And you have a pretty decent lead. We have 2-loss difference, but as always, your upset always hits. So you get the extra wins. So you're 105-64, and I'm 99-66. So
well,
pretty close, but go ahead.
So it feels good to be ahead, though. I'll tell you that. After this weekend, it seemed like everything was going to go the wrong way all the way leading up to the wedding, and then we finally got everything under control on the day of. And our day of coordinator, shout out to Tom, who set up everything, did everything the right way, but our wedding planner really dropped the ball on us. And we actually had a very nice wedding that I know you weren't able to be there, but I sent you guys a lot of pictures, and it was a beautiful wedding. The entrance coming out, by far my favorite entrance you could possibly have. We did the Chicago Bulls style, announcing the starting lineup for the wedding party, and each of us wore Buffalo Bills jerseys, and we had some Josh Allens, we had some Stephon Diggs, we had a DeMar jersey come out, and then my buddy's sadly a Dolphins fan, and I told him no Dolphins gear for the wedding. It can't happen. So I put him in a Bobby Boucher jersey because he's a little bit of a redneck type of guy. So it ended up being a beautiful wedding, and I wish you could have been there, man. But
I'm glad you had a great time.
Sometimes you can't be there, but it was by far the best evening, and the food was fantastic. The atmosphere was great people to be around, and a phenomenal time.
Ryan wants to congratulate you.
Thank you, Ram 22.
Yeah, it's awesome. Getting married is a great thing, and always got to try to do right by your wife and for yourself as well. And when it gets tough, just understand it's part of it, and it's never going to be 100% perfect, but it's about being with the person you love most and getting through those things, because everything's easy when it's good. That's why I always bring up when something goes wrong, if or when, just know that you got to remember back to that day when you first laid eyes on her and you fell in love, and you're like, okay, yeah, maybe we got upset at each other today, but in the long run, it doesn't mean anything. So
I completely agree. One thing I will say, though, before I forget, is I got to say how beautiful she looked. I mean,
she did.
I did not imagine the dress that she wore out there, and it was a long, lengthy dress. I'm not going to say it because I don't want everybody to think I'm a little crybaby.
No, it's not. You're not a crybaby.
No, going out there, our pastor was really cool. He told me before, he's like, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to try and be funny up there and everything, but if you want me to, I can put one of the college football games on, and I'll put it on the iPad, and I'll put it behind me so that you can watch it, so you don't have to watch her walking down the aisle. And he stayed true to his word. He actually did have a game on, and then he switched it over after she got halfway up the altar. And then he ended up saying a beautiful speech and everything. And then we got through it. But yeah, I did cry. I'm not going to lie. I turned, as soon as I turned and looked at her, it was I was not expecting her to be as beautiful, even though she's the most beautiful girl in the world. I wasn't expecting her to look the way that she did. She looked incredible, and I was expecting a short dress and everything, but her dress was by far one out of a Cinderella movie.
That's awesome. Wonderful. But yeah, congratulations times a million to you guys, and much nothing but the best. We got 3 games tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Starting off with, as always, you got the Lions and Cowboys always playing, and then you got the night game, who's new, but first one at 12:30, Lions Packers. Lions are at home. It feels like they're always at home, but they're 8-2, looking real good, going against the 4-6 Green Bay Packers. Packers season's on the line here. I'm going with the Lions at home. Jared Goff didn't have a good day last week. He threw 3 picks, but they still ended up winning the football game. I think they'll be great. I think they just don't have what it takes.
I completely agree with you in this situation. I mean, the Lions are looking fantastic. You add in Jameson Williams, who hasn't been spectacular this year, but he caught a touchdown pass last week, and I think it's going to be an even better Lions team. And you have all these superstars on the team. The defense is playing very well, and the Packers are struggling right now. They don't have Aaron Jones probably this week, which I believe he is out for the game. But Jordan Love has to step up in order to get a win. So I'm going to take the Lions to win this game, but I do want to see more out of Jordan Love. And if he's able to take that next progression, then it's a good sign for them. But he needs to step up a little bit more in order to make this team better and get them to where they want to go, which is the playoffs.
I agree. The Lions are favored by 7.5. I think these lines are always one off, if I'm correct. So I think they're probably favored by 8.5 or 6.5, one of the two. Because I thought I heard Dallas was favored by 12, and Dallas is favored on here by 10.5. So we don't put much into the spreads for this show. So don't take our word for it, because I think it is. I don't know why it's always a little bit different, but these might be the original, and then they change throughout the week. But Dallas at home against Washington, division rival, 4:30 game. Dallas favored by 10.5. Dallas is 7-3. I think they'll become 8-3. CeeDee Lamb's too good. They got a great offensive line. Dak's playing MVP football. Sam Howell is playing pretty good over there in Washington, and their season would have been, on the line this week, but they ended up losing to the Giants last week and dropping to 4-7 instead of 5-6. And they would have, if they beat the Cowboys this week, they'd be back in the playoff thick of things. But 4-7, they're probably done. But they'll probably still fight. But I'm still going with Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys to win this game too. I think really it comes down to how much the Commanders want to fight for Ron Rivera's job. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, that's one thing I'm looking into. I think that they're going to be a wholesale at the end of the year. I think it's going to be a new coaching regime that comes in, whether that's going to be Bill Belichick or whoever that's going to be that comes in and takes over the Commanders. It's an enticing job that you're going to have there, and whoever gets to take over has a decent quarterback at the position. They got some good running backs as well, and Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick as well, and it's going to be a team that just needs a couple of pieces on offense to be able to get back in place. And then their defense, they just need to strengthen it back up. They got some good depth in the draft. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and if they fight for Ron Rivera's job.
Absolutely. Great point. And as Ram mentions, there is a Black Friday game coming up. We'll get to that in a minute. The final game for Thanksgiving is the Niners versus Seahawks. I think the Seahawks lost 2 or 3 in a row, and they're at home. They're underdogs at home by 7.5. It says here 6.5, but I think it's 7.5 if I remember correctly. But still, that's a touchdown difference at home. So, they're not feeling too good about Seattle this week. I'm gonna go with the Niners. I do like Seattle, but Niners got Debo back. They're getting healthier. Still got Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk. And with all those weapons, it's kind of hard to have a couple bad games in a row. They were 5-0, then 5-3. Now they're 7-3. They're getting back on a win streak. I think they'll continue. I think the Niners will cap off the night with a win.
Yeah, I do too. I think the Niners are going to win this one. But I think it's going to be closer than people think. Yes. Geno Smith was banged up after the game, so that's something that you have to question as well. But the Niners have looked like a Super Bowl team. That's one thing that I'm looking at. You add in Chase Young to the mix as well, and this team is going to go very deep in the playoffs. So I think this is a game where Brock Purdy looks as good as he did last week, where he played phenomenal. And I think that they're going to find a way to win this one, but I think it's going to be closer than many people expect. So I say a one possession win for them, and they'll come out of this game with a little bit of momentum going towards the playoffs.
Absolutely. Then the Black Friday game. This is where I was kind of like, I could see an upset here. Dolphins going to New Jersey, East Rutherford against the Jets, who are 4-6. Season technically still alive after we whooped them last week. The reason why I thought about making this one an upset is because Tua's never played this Jets defense. He didn't play him once last year, and the year before that, the Jets defense wasn't that good, and they didn't have all the pieces yet when Tua was there. Now Tua hasn't played against guys like they got in their defense now. So it'd be interesting to see how he responds to the first time playing them. And, the Jets switched out their quarterback, so they might have a little bit of juice heading into this game. They know they're still not dead yet. So making the quarterback switch, whether it's too late for them or not, they're going to feel like they still have a chance to make the playoffs, especially if they win this game and they're 5-6 heading into the next week. I don't think Miami. I think their right guard is still banged up, and I think their left guard is banged up. And but other than that, I think they're pretty okay. They got their best cornerback, so they're basically as healthy as they could possibly want to be, minus a couple offensive linemen, which could be good for the Jets, who have a great defensive line. But I still went with Miami. I wanted to pick the Jets as the upset. I got another one in mind, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets won.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins to win this one too. I don't think that they're going to find a way to lose this game. I think the division is pretty much the Dolphins to lose. If they find a way to choke, then the Bills are going to be back in it. But I do think the Dolphins are going to win this game. Especially against a team where the offense of the New York Jets has been atrocious. Let's just put it that way. Zach Wilson did not look good last week. He was sacked 6 times in the game. A couple of interceptions thrown to Rasul Douglas, who I believe was the defensive player of the week this week. So
should have been if he wasn't.
Should have been if he didn't get it. I believe he did get it, if I remember correctly. So you got to look at the big picture for the Jets and say you got a new quarterback coming in Tim Boyle, who his job pretty much is going to have to be to throw the ball to Garrett Wilson. And if he can't get that job done, then it's going to be sad. And you're going to see where Nathaniel Hackett his job is going to be on the line. Absolutely. But I want to see the Jets come out of this game being able to run the ball and be able to pass the ball to Garrett Wilson, who a lot of us took early on in the draft in fantasy, because we felt like he was going to take that next step having Aaron Rodgers out there. Now you don't have Aaron Rodgers, and he's not going to be, he was sliding into the first round, to be honest with you. I took him in, I think, the second or third round. I had Tyreek Hill in the first round. I got Garrett Wilson in the second round. He really hasn't done anything for me. I've started putting him on my bench because I don't trust what the offense of the Jets are doing. So I'm going to roll with the Dolphins because I have a lot of trust in Tua and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But this does have upset brewing on the horizon. So I'm going to say that if you're putting a pot on the stove, this is a game where it's going to start to simmer. I'm going to tell you that right now. And it very well could be an upset. I'm hoping it's an upset, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Dolphins will win it, though.
Love it. My old buddy Quinn Mother effing Davis coming in. Had to stop in and talk shit for Philly. Yeah, it's a couple I think like 6 picks away maybe. But we've got to see you here, buddy. Hope it's a great game, and definitely come by and talk more crap anytime you want. And then Ram thinks it's going to be an upset too. That'd be pretty funny. I'd love that. It'd help us out too. Then you got this is a big game too. Jacksonville going to Houston. For us, when you're looking at the position we put ourselves in at 6-5, we lost to the Jags, right? The Jags are 7-3. The Texans are 6-4. We're fighting with the Texans for a playoff spot. In this situation, I'm going to pick the Jags. I'm not just picking them because of this, but our rooting interest should be for the Jags because no matter what, we lost to the Jags already. So if it came out to a tiebreaker, we would lose to the Jags if it's the same record and everything. Now that we don't play the Texans. So if the Texans lose more conference games or whatever, we don't have to worry about them in that sense. So we want them to keep losing. But Trevor Lawrence, the Jags offense to me hasn't been great all season, but it seemed like they started to put it together a little bit. I don't think Trevor Lawrence had more than like 2 touchdown passes up until last week in a game, but they had a great run game. They got great weapons. Surprisingly, Zay Jones is still playing, even though he got a domestic violence charge. But Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley have been phenomenal. Houston's got a lot going on. Tank Dell, CJ Stroud. You got our boy Motor Singletary over there. But I think they will cool off this week and lose to Jacksonville.
So let me ask you this, Sean. How many games out of the last 11 games have the Texans won against the Jaguars?
9.
10 of them. They won 10 out of 11 against them. Now, that goes back to earlier in the season where the Texans won. But this is the week where I think you look at last week and you saw Trevor Lawrence and how he played. He played pretty well. They got back on track last week. This game is for first in the division. Yeah, it's got a lot riding on it, but I think that the Jaguars are going to take command of the division. They have the easier schedule this year in terms of what the NFL said. So I'm going to take the Jaguars to win this game. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people expect, though. I do think that CJ Stroud and Tank Dell can carry this offense and get them down the field. Motor Singletary has looked a lot better, too. Dalton Schultz has been plugged into this offense, looking good as well. And this defense fights hard for DeMeco Ryans. And I'll tell you that. It could come down to a defensive turnover, and I think that overall that the Jaguars are going to step up on defense, and they'll be able to get a couple of turnovers for the team. And if you look back to last week and you saw what CJ Stroud did, he had 3 interceptions in the game.
And they still won.
They still won, but that's cause for concern. You can't play risky in this league and have that many turnovers. Sometimes it's going to bite you in the ass. And this week, I think it's going to be one of those games where it bites them in the ass and they find a way to come out of it with a loss. So I'm going to take the Jaguars to win this game. And I think it's going to be right around a 1-possession game. So I think it's going to be right in that close game range where you're going to see that alert come on in the 4 o'clock hour.
Nice. Yeah, it's a 1.5 to 2.5 point spread here. Then you got the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow home against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just fired Matt Canada, who have a horrible offense too. They're 6-4. Now, either way, it's good. I guess I'd rather have maybe Pittsburgh lose just because I know the Bengals, they got a tough schedule. They still got to play the 49ers. They got to play the Chiefs. And I know that they will lose again. And they still got to play the Steelers again too. So maybe it'll still be nice to have the Steelers lose because then if we beat the Eagles, then it'd be better for us as far as playoff goes. But I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. I don't know how the Bengals are going to be able to play with Browning against the Steelers defense. That's been a vaunted defense for years and years. But Pittsburgh offense isn't that good. So this might be a 12-9 game or 13-10 kind of game. But I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in a close one.
This is a game where Kenny Pickett has to step up and make a lot of good throws in this game. And you got to see a lot out of George Pickens and Deontay
Johnson.
I always want to say Deontay
Hardy.
No, I was gonna say Deion Jackson from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of the corner from the Carolina Panthers. This is a game where they got to step up, and you got to see a lot of Najee Harris too. That offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers has to step up. So there's a lot of pieces that have to come together, and I want to see the difference between Matt Canada's offense versus the new offensive coordinator that comes into the Pittsburgh Steelers, takes it over, and I want to see what they do with how they're able to run the ball. The one thing that I remember about the Pittsburgh Steelers is that they're a run-first team. So I want to see the running game get started, and then that leads to the play action where you have Kenny Pickett go back there and throw passes to Pickens or Fairmouth or Johnson as well. So I think that this is going to be a get-right game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think they're going to win. I don't know a lot about Browning, so I think that's going to take them in the wrong direction. Obviously, I think the Steelers' defense is legit, so I'm taking them based off of the better defense out there on the field. TJ Watt, is going to have a field day against this offensive line of the Bengals, and I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. But I can't wait to see this one, and I can't wait to see the Bengals come out with a loss, and hopefully that brings us up in the standings a little bit in terms of getting us back in the playoff run.
Well, we're 8 right now. The Bengals, I think, are 10. So we're hoping for, I think, Pittsburgh, the Browns, and the Texans are in front of us right now. So we got to hope for one of them to lose. And if we win, when or if we win, because my buddy, I said if, and he mentioned if. But that would put us ahead with 7-5. So then you got a pretty dog shit game. The Tennessee Titans home against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's underdogs by 3.5. The Panthers did look pretty good for a minute against Dallas until it got out of hand. But I think Vrabel at this point in time is a better coach. I think Derrick Henry will have a good day. And I think this will be a bad game, but I think the Titans will squeak away with this in the end. Derrick Henry's going to get a touchdown later in the fourth quarter to seal the deal.
Yeah, this has got an ugly game written all over it. You got two quarterbacks out there that have been brutalized all year in Will Levis versus Bryce Young. And it really comes down to which defense is going to be better, and that's what I look for in this game. And I have more trust, honestly, in the Tennessee Titans defense, and that's saying a lot because I wouldn't touch the Tennessee Titans defense with a 12-foot pole. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's atrocious. This game really comes down to which quarterback will be able to take their team down the field. And the Carolina Panthers are an awful team. I think that they're really going to have a one and done with Frank Wright. As much as I love him and respect him for what he did in Buffalo, I just don't think that this is a good situation for him to be in. So I think they're tanking for a good quarterback or something along those lines. They're tanking for somebody. So I just don't think that they're going to find a way to compete in this game. And I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans to win this one. It's going to be by more than 10 points, to be honest with you. And we'll see what happens out there on Sunday. But I don't think that the Carolina Panthers are going to compete in very many games for the season.
Absolutely. This is a game where I struggle with a little bit. You got Falcons home against the Saints. This is division implications because if the Falcons win, they'll be in first place. Saints are first at 5-5 right now. You got the Falcons at 4-6. You got the Bucks at 4-6. So, and you got the Panthers. So, big game. I wanted to go with the Falcons, but I just think the Saints defense is going to stop Taylor Heineke. So I'm going to go with the Saints. The Saints defense has been good. I mean, Derek Carr's wishy-washy, but I feel like Heineke is the same way. And I think Saints defense is better than the Falcons defense. Falcons do have a great offensive line and a great running back, but I think when it comes down to it, the Saints will muster up a win.
I believe that Desmond Ridder is
is he back starting?
Position. So they're going back to Desmond Ridder for the rest of the season, according to Arthur Smith. So
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure we got that out there. But this is a game with both teams at 500. This is a game where both teams are coming off of bye weeks. It really comes down to which team has more injuries, and that's the Saints. But it also comes down to which team do you trust at the quarterback position. And I have more faith in Derek Carr than I do in Desmond Ridder, even though I have Desmond Ridder in my fantasy league, and I don't trust him. Now, listen, that's in sleeper, okay? Let's put it that way. That's in the sleeper league. I'm hoping that he catches on with a different offense and he ends up going to, like, a team in a situation like Miami or something like that, where he can lit it up or light it up. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. So I want to see him light it up, but I don't see a reason why, even though they have a spectacular record at home with Desmond Ridder at quarterback, I don't see a reason why they're going to win this game. It's against a team that's got a really good defense in the Saints, and they're trying to get back into the playoff hunt. So I think that the Saints are going to win this one.
Love it. Then you got the Colts home against the Bucks. The Colts are 1-4 at home. And my upset of the week is Tampa Bay upsetting the Indianapolis Colts. The Bucks started off pretty good, 3-3. They got weapons: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield's been okay. And then the Colts, our boy Zach Moss over there, Michael Pittman, Gardner Minshew's been pretty good. Had a couple, off games, but as a backup, he's 5-5, or their team's 5-5. So they're vying for a playoff spot. They're one of the teams we're fighting with. So it'd also be nice if they got a loss, because they'd be 5-6. And then if they got a win and if we lost, they'd be bumped up ahead of us. So this would be another big game to look for Bills fans. But I think Tampa Bay is going to get back on the winning track and take down the Colts with their crappy home record of 1-4.
Well, the one thing I look for in this game is the quarterback play, and Gardner Minshew has not been playing very well. So, I mean, you hit the nail in the coffin. You took the upset of the week. That's a great one. I get it. It's an easy one to get back on track. I get what you're going to do here. So, it's a great situation. I'm taking the Bucks to win it, obviously, but I'm not going to pick them for my upset of the week. Really, it isn't an upset because the Tampa Bay Bucks should be favored in this game, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the Bucks, but they shouldn't be favored in this game, or they should be favored in this game.
All right. I like that. Now another doo-doo game. You got the Patriots going to East Rutherford, host against the New York Giants, who just beat the Commanders. This is a draft pick game. Who wants to hire a draft pick? Who's actually tanking for a draft pick? Man, this is a tough one, because I think the Patriots are benching Mac Jones. I don't think they came out with it yet. Not too sure. Because a couple days ago, I heard they weren't sure. Yesterday on the summit, Chris said they weren't sure who they're going with yet. So that'd be interesting. Their defense is still banged up, but they still play good defense. And the Giants got Tommy DeVito, who's on his fourth start. So you don't really think he's going to do well against Belichick. I think I'll pick the Pats here, honestly. Belichick owns young, rookie, or inexperienced quarterbacks. And the Giants' defense is okay at times, but still wasn't what they were last year. I think I'm going to go with the Patriots here.
Part of me wants to take the Giants, to really do, but I'm going to go with the Patriots to win this game. I really want them to. I like the Italian Stallion in Tommy DeVito, and he can play out there. I'm going to tell you that right now. He's got some swagger and everything. Part of me wants to take him to win. Yeah, I want to take him so badly, but I just don't see a reason why the Patriots are going to lose to a rookie quarterback. And they find a way to win. They got a lot of injuries, don't get me wrong, but I think this is a bounce-back game for them. And I don't think that they're tanking. They got to fight for their jobs right now. And I think this is a situation where we will see Bailey Zappi make it the start at quarterback. Possibly even another quarterback in Will Greer, who you could see making his first start. So I'm going to take the Patriots to win this game, and it's going to be one of those ugly games, but we'll see what happens on Sunday, and maybe it's going to be an upset, but I'm not going to fall for the trap, though. I'll tell you that.
Love it. What's up, Colin? He's actually going live tomorrow because he told me a couple hours ago that his grandparents wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving tonight. So he asked if I could switch him till tomorrow. So he'll be going tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and he can go all night if, because we're going tonight. So he could go all night if he wants. But yeah, sorry for I didn't have time to put it out that he wasn't going to go tonight. But he bailed on us last week. He said he fell asleep and then forgot. But he will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock for his Paying the Bills podcast. Bring your questions, and love to see you there. Let's go. Yes, sir. And the next game we got is the Denver Broncos, who won 4 in a row, including one against us that we should have won. They're 5-5. They're fighting for a playoff spot, and they got a tiebreaker for us. So we don't want to see them winning. Then you got the Cleveland Browns, who you also want to see start losing because they're in a wild card spot at 7-3. And it's crazy because the Ravens are the 1 seed at 8-3. So the Browns are fighting for the 1 seed and the wild card right now. So, obviously you want the other teams to start losing. But, in this game, I think the Browns defense is just too good. The Broncos has just been it feels like to me like they're just playing not to lose. Especially from the game that we played against them. You could tell by the way the plays were called. And we just screwed ourselves and shot ourselves in the foot constantly. Should have won that game. But, the other end of the spectrum is DTR's in a second start or third start, and the Browns offense hasn't been that good. So then you start to wonder, I don't know, but I think the Browns defense is just ferocious. I'm going to pick them over the Broncos.
Yeah, this game comes down to a dominant defense versus a team that's coming off of a lot of good expectations for the last 4 weeks. They're on a run, starting to get back into the playoff run. But like you said, the offense of the Broncos has been pretty crappy. I'm just going to say that right now. They're playing not to lose. And I haven't seen a lot out of Russell Wilson. He's been better, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't taken that step into showing what he did in Seattle. And I don't have the confidence in him to pick an upset here. So I'm going to go with the Jim Schwartz defense that I love so much and that helped us out to get 50 sacks a couple years ago that we can remember. 4 players having 10 sacks or more that year. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to win this game. I'm going to lock that one in, but not as an upset, obviously, because it's not really an upset. So I will say the Cleveland Browns win this game.
But yeah, Ram, happy early Thanksgiving to everybody. Absolutely. Have a safe holiday. Enjoy your family and some good food. That's what it's all about. And, appreciate you guys tuning in on the holiday week. Then you got Cardinals, who should have won last week against the Texans. I picked them as my upset last week against the Rams, who are 4-6, but the two of their 4 wins are against the Seahawks somehow. Here, honestly, I'm just going to pick the Cardinals to win. I know I picked the Cardinals a lot this year, but they've been in all these games. They fight hard. They get so close, and I just know 3 games in now with Kyler. They should have won last week. They forced 3 turnovers from C.J. Stroud. The Rams, Cooper Kupp's not going to be playing. Matt Stafford's just whatever. You got Puka Nacua still, but no Cooper Kupp, so it'll be easy to key in. And I think Kyler Murray's going to have a good day. I'm going to pick the Cardinals at home. They're favored by 0.5 point according to this.
I feel like you're looking at my play sheet here and who I'm trying to pick. So I looked back to last week and saw what the Cardinals did. They lost a tough one to the Texans last week. Kyler Murray played pretty well in his last 2 starts, which I think will continue too. But the Cardinals will slow down Matthew Stafford and company. That's what it really comes down to. And, the Rams, they're coming off of a comeback win over the Seahawks, which was a great game to watch. It cost me first place in my my pool, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take
the Seahawks did miss an easy field goal too.
They did. No, don't get me wrong. That's what pissed me off the most. But I'm going to take the Cardinals to win. I think that they're going to bounce back. They're going to slow down the Matthew Stafford, and I think it's going to be a close game, but I think it's going to come down to the Cardinals winning it out.
Love it. Then you got the best game of the week. The Buffalo Bills going to Philadelphia to face a 9-1 number one team in the NFL, Eagles, who just got revenge on the stupid city Chiefs to avenge their Super Bowl loss last year. This is a huge game. I mean, it's not the end of the world if we lose because it's NFC, so we're still technically in it. But this is a game to prove that this is a team we were supposed to be from day one. We've been, we're 6-5. We put ourselves in a position where we lost our games by us shooting ourselves in the foot and making mistakes that shouldn't have been made and, basically killing yourself. So to beat a team like the Eagles at Philadelphia, at the Link, where it goes crazy over there, their fans are just like Buffalo fans. It's going to actually be pretty cool. Like if it was like a 50-50, that'd just be an awesome day with great fan bases and great teams. In my opinion, the Eagles are a beatable team as much as the record says they're not. I think we could take advantage of their secondary. They have an outstanding defensive line, which is going to be another great test for our offensive line, who's been outstanding this year too. And they have an awesome offensive line as well. So it's going to be a trenched up game. I have a lot of faith in our offensive line. They've given up the least amount of sacks since week 4, and they've been phenomenal. They bullied the Jets defensive line, and I see the Eagles and the Jets D lines very similar. So this will be a really good game. Don't turn the ball over. Don't let them get into third and fourth and shorts, because they're going to get automatically first downs if they're in 3rd and 2. Because if they don't get the 2 yards on the tush push in the 3rd down, they'll go for it on 4th down, and they're not going to be afraid to go for it in bad positions, like at the 20. They'll go for it if it's 4th down and 1 with a tush push. AJ Brown came off he got locked up last week, but he always comes back the next week if he doesn't have a great day. So look for a guy like Rasul Douglas to have a great game against AJ Brown. Devonta Smith is like a wide receiver 1. So you got 2 wide receiver 1s out there. Quinn, tell me if I'm wrong. I think Dallas Goedert is out. And that's big for us because he's a great tight end. And then you got to watch out for DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. We're really bad at defending screen passes, and he's a great runner with the football as well. So it's going to be a tough challenge. I think we can win. I hope we win. And this will be a huge, huge confidence boost and validation for this team. And did I say anybody played bad Monday? I don't remember. He said arm's broken. He's done to playoffs probably. Oh, okay. But yeah. No, I think I said A.J. Brown had a bad day. I think he had 1 catch. But he always comes back the following week if he doesn't have a big day. And, it's going to be – A.J. Brown's been – when he's on the Titans, he's been killing us pretty bad. So hopefully we can lock him up this week, because that's he's a big physical receiver. But Rasul Douglas is a big physical corner, so I like that matchup there. But how about you, Brett?
So this is a game I'm looking at as the Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills. Let's just put it that way. This is a big game. Got to get it right. You coming off of last week against the Jets, you dominated out there. You have an extra day off, pretty much, a day and a quarter off, okay? So because the Eagles played on Monday night. You're prepared. You should be more prepared, number one. You have extra practice. You didn't.
Yeah, they had a short week today.
You have to make sure that you're coming out there and you're dominating. So you got Rasul Douglas, who had 2 interceptions last week. You add in the fact that you have a couple of guys on the defense that were hurt last week. 2 guys had concussions, in Taron Johnson as well as Taylor Rapp, who that was a neck injury, but there was
Dane too.
Dane Jackson as well. So Dane Jackson and Taron Johnson had the concussions, and then the neck injury for Taylor Rapp. So you got a couple of injuries to the secondary. That kind of concerns me a little bit. But you have Christian Benford out there as well. You got Micah Hyde. You got Jordan Poyer. But this Eagles team is very good. Okay, let's just put it that way. The offense is fantastic. You add in DeAndre Swift, who you didn't even talk about.
Yeah, I did.
And we're giving up a lot of yards to running backs. That concerns me quite a bit. There's a lot of weapons on this offense of the Eagles. Jalen Hurts has not been playing spectacular lately. You got A.J. Brown. You have Deontay Smith. You add in Julio Jones to the mix as well.
Right.
And that's a little bit of cause for concern for me. And then you add in Kevin Byard, who came over from the Titans. And it's a Philly team that's their defense is playing pretty good with, Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis out there in the middle, plugging up the middle. But I got to say this, the better quarterback out there on the field, if he is playing right and his head is not full of distractions, is Josh Allen. I'm going to put it out there right now. This is going to be a close game. But for my upset of the week, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Eagles.
That's a good one. I like that.
I'm going to pull off the upset. I'm confident in the Buffalo Bills. Joe Brady is going to be the answer for the Buffalo Bills. They have the weapons out there on the field. They have the team to beat this team. And they're going to do it. The thing that it comes down to is, can they get the offensive line going? And if they can, and they can run the ball and be dominant on both sides of the ball with Linval Joseph, who knows pretty much the playbook of the defense of the Eagles, because he was there last year. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win this game. Going to be close, though, but I say a late touchdown to win the game by our man Josh Allen, who is going to be the AFC Player of the Week after an overtime win over the Eagles.
Jesus,
getting back on track. He's going to get back on track, get his overall overtime record back up, and he's going to win this game with a completion to Stephon Diggs over the middle of the field for a touchdown.
Nice. Love that. Yeah, Quinn said I mentioned the O-line who had their lunch on Monday. Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't watch the whole first half, but I know they gave up 5 sacks, but they gave up none in the second half, so they made the adjustment. But I was surprised, they gave up 5 sacks. Maybe it was because of the weather. It was raining, but still, that's a good offensive line, and 5 sacks is just unacceptable. And I do feel like our defensive line is better than the Chiefs, so hopefully we can get some advantageous situations. I'm glad Rasul is balling out for someone. He was a liability in Philly. Oh, that's right. He was in Philly before Green Bay. But yeah, I mean, some Green Bay fans were always like, oh, he's not that good. But I feel like when I watch him play, like I compare him to Trey White. And the last couple of years, Trey White hasn't been the same. But when Rasul plays, he's either knocking the ball out, getting a pick, or tackling the receiver immediately upon a catch. So I do like that. And I think that'll be really good for a guy like A.J. Brown. And hopefully we we can do something with Devonta Smith. And Quinn says 28-17 Philly. Damn, that's going to be a disappointing ass loss if that's how it goes. Hopefully, if we do lose, hopefully it's at least a respectable game. But I could also see this happening too. As long as the Bills quarterback throws to someone other than Diggs every play, they can definitely win. Absolutely. Yeah. We got the players. And when, like Brett said, when Josh isn't trying to do everything on his own and he trusts his guys that he knows he can trust, this could be a dangerous team. Our record says 6-5, so that's what we're going to be. But this is a dangerous football team. And, last year we were 13-3. And I only bring up last year because this team is better constructed than last year. Offensive line is 20 times better than last year. We got better playmakers. We got more experience. So, we can get hot, and it starts playing against a great team like the Eagles. They're going to kick the snot out of Dallas, so go Gills any other week. Yeah, I love that. And, come back for Dallas week 2. That's going to be a fun one. Come back all the time. I miss you, buddy. And I hope you guys have did you hunt anything? Did you hunt any turkeys? I know you're a big hunting guy. Let me know. But that's a good upset pick, Brett. And I wouldn't be mad if you won that one because that'd be pretty awesome. Then we got 3 more games left.
Remember this real quick. And remember that the Buffalo Bills have a bye week after this Eagles game. So we got to come out of this 7-5, roll into the bye week. Then you have the Chiefs that we have to play. And the Chiefs are going to be a tough team. Hopefully we can get some players back from injuries. I don't think we're going to see guys like Matt Milano come back or Daquan Jones. That would be great to see if that did happen. But you have a couple of guys that we need to get back, and hopefully we can just get healthy, get our minds right, and then come out of this game and get back to playing complementary football and get our defense right and play the Kansas City Chiefs, win that game, and be back on a roll.
Yep, absolutely. Then speaking of the Chiefs, I love when they lose, especially because people like Nick Wright are like, oh, we're just practicing. We're doing live televised practices. Well, now you're 7-3, and the last 4 games you haven't scored a single point in the second half. So it's funny. But the Chiefs are going to be going to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. They're favored by 9.5 away. So a little bit disrespectful to those Raiders. It'd be nice to see the Raiders win, but I can't take the chance. I'm down by a few wins, so I'm going to have to take the easy way out and go with the Chiefs to bounce back here.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. Last week, you didn't see a lot out of Travis Kelce. And I strongly believe that after a tough loss to the Eagles, they're going to use Travis Kelce quite a bit. So I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. Do I think that disrespectful 9.5 spread is going to happen? I really don't. I think this is going to be a closer game than people think. Yeah. But it really comes down to Steve Spagnuolo's defense, and can they come up with a couple of stops, which I believe they will. And I have a cut on my finger, so I'm trying to get it off. So started bleeding a little bit, and Hannah's like trying not to look at it, but
no worries.
I watched it in the mirror. So I can't stand the Chiefs either, Ram 22. I can't stand the Chiefs. I want them to lose badly, but I just don't think that this is going to happen. So
hate them.
Let's take the Chiefs to win this one, and then next week against the Buffalo Bills, they will find a way to lose that game. Not next week, but the week after the bye. The Buffalo Bills will kick the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mark my words.
That'll be great. Last couple games here. The Chargers season's on the line against the Baltimore Ravens. Chargers are 4-6. After a heartbreaker, they lost last week when their first round pick dropped a wide open catch that would have won them the game more than likely against the Baltimore Ravens, who are 8-3, trying to hold on to that number 1 seed in the AFC. Man, I mean, the Chargers defense is just horrible. Bosa got carted off the field last week, and they're good on offense, but they just can't put it all together. And the Ravens lost Mark Andrews. Lamar's a little bit banged up. I think Zay Flowers is a little bit banged up, but they have a fantastic running game. I mean, Lamar's got as many turnovers as he does touchdowns, and people are calling him MVP. So they're winning somehow, and it's more than more times than not the running game. I think the Ravens will end the Chargers season here this week.
I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win this one, and I don't think it's going to be as close as people think. You got a tight end in Isaiah Likely, who last year had 13 PPR points per game when Mark Andrews was out. So if you're looking for a fantasy sleeper out there in the tight end position, you might have a guy that's out, or you might have Mark Andrews like I do. Go after Isaiah Likely. Grab him. He's going to make an impact out there. You got to remember, Lamar Jackson loves the tight ends. That's one area that he absolutely loves. I'm going to take the Ravens to win this game, and it's going to be a game where the defense of the Chargers is going to struggle against guys like Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, and Isaiah Likely. So I'm going to take the Ravens to win this one easily, and they're going to improve and get back to where they belong in the playoff run, even though we need a couple of teams to lose. But I just don't see why they're going to lose this one.
Absolutely. I think that's Sunday night. And then Monday night, to wrap up the Thanksgiving week, you got the Vikings home against the Chicago Bears, who blew one against the Lions. And then the Vikings lost to the Broncos in a tough fashion. Minnesota, they started off 1-4. They're 6-5. They haven't had Jefferson back yet. They lost their quarterback, but resilient bunch, great coach. They'll be. I don't know if Jefferson's coming back, but they should handle the Bears. I got the Vikings.
Strongly believe that they will find a way to take care of the Bears. The Bears are in it for the number one pick right now. The last time that the Bears won a NFC North game was before Ryan Pace was the GM. So I'm going to take the Vikings to win this one with Josh Dobbs. I really like him at quarterback. He's been playing pretty damn well as well. And I think they're just going to find a way to win this one, and it's not going to be close.
Well, we picked everything the same this week.
Which is a little surprising. Actually, no, you didn't. Did you take the Bills over the Eagles?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you took the Eagles. So
of course I took the Bills. The only thing different is I picked Tampa as the upset. So
we'll see.
The only point swings will be the upsets.
We'll see.
Because if I pick, let's say the Bills won and Tampa loses, you beat me by a point or 2 points because you'll have the extra win. So everything's the same. So it's the first week it's actually happened like that, which is pretty funny. But we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys.
If we pick it all the same, do you want to do a tiebreaker then for an extra point?
Well, it depends how it ends. If it ends in a tie, then that's fine because it's not the end of the year yet. So it's more than fine. But
well, I'm just saying for the overall week, it doesn't count as a point. It's just based off of, we'll say who won the week. We can say.
Well, that's the difference. So right now is if all these teams win, then it would be a tie. But like I said, I got Tampa upsetting and you got Bills upsetting. So Tampa could lose, and then the Bills win, and then you win. So there's no need for a tie break scenario. But
so we'll just say it for fun. Okay, we'll make a tiebreaker. That's cool with you. Okay,
well, that's fine. I just don't see it probably won't happen. But
let's just say an overall combined score for the Monday Night Football game. Okay, and that'll be the tiebreaker. Whoever gets closer takes home we'll take home the win next week if we tie.
Okay.
So I'll give you first dibs on an overall score.
I don't know. 24-16.
So you're taking 40 combined points?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to go a little lower than you. I'm going to say 23-14. So I'm going to take 37.
Okay.
So write that down. Just put down you got the over on 40 and I got the under on 37 for that. So if we end up tying, that'll be the tiebreaker to determine who has the overall win. So whoever comes closer on the combined points will win, and it's not like the Price is Right. If you go over, it doesn't count. So whoever gets closer, it matters to. So
gotcha.
We'll see, man.
All right. Sounds good. But it'll be interesting to see how it happens. It'd be cool if we go undefeated. That'd be interesting. But
I just hope the Buffalo Bills win. That's all I care about. So
yeah, same. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Again, congratulations again, Brett, to you and Hannah for your marriage. And enjoy Thanksgiving with your loved ones and family. To everyone out there, too. If you celebrate it, if you don't, then just have a wonderful day. And, we love all of you. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video. And we will see you Saturday on Red, White, and Ruthless over at Nickel City Mafia. And then tomorrow, remember, Thanksgiving special, T-Stack with Paying the Bills podcast will be on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And I didn't force him to. He chose to do Thanksgiving Day. So before people come at me. But, yeah, great stream. Thanks again, Ram. Head over to his channel over there, too. Does awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. I've been slacking, but he does all the great work over there. So thank you, guys.
Real quick, Sean, I want to say to your family, your wife and you, man, happy Thanksgiving. I don't know if you're going anywhere, but if you are, safe travels, man. To everybody out there that's on the channel, I wish each and every one of you a safe and happy Thanksgiving, whether you're traveling to or you have family that's traveling as well. I wish everybody safe travels where you're going. Get there safe. Just remember, this is the holiday season, so there's going to be a lot more people on the roads. So give yourself a little bit of extra time. Don't try and rush to your destination. Just take your time. Get to where you need to go. The most important thing is you're spending time with your loved ones. Get to where you need to go to safely, and don't do anything crazy out there on the roads. And let's make it all the way until Sunday, where we have a Buffalo Bills game at 4:25 against the Eagles, which is going to be a fun game that both of us are going to preview. So I can't wait to do that, Sean, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we will see you on Saturday.
Sounds good. Go Bills. Take care now.
Go Bills.